friends, welcome to Book Talk. Today I have for you a novel by world-renowned film director Satyajit Ray. Recently I had an opportunity to go through his works. They are marvelous. The original Bengali title of this particular novel is Gangtokey Gondogol. In English it would mean Trouble in Gangtok. This novello or short novel featuring private detective Feluda was first published in the Desh magazine in 1970 and then published in book form in 1971 by Ananda Publishers. The main characters of this book are Pradosh Chand Mittar, also known as Feluda, Tepesh Ranjan Mittar, also known as Topshi, Sasadar Bose, and Dr. Vaidya are the names of the same character. And then you have Nishikanto Sarkar, followed by Helmut Ungar and Virendra Shelvankar are the names of the same character. So Helmut Ungankar and Virendra Shelvankar are the names of the same character. Next is Shiv Kumar Shelvankar, and then you have the curator of the Tibetan Institute. The story is an intricate one. It is about, it's a murder mystery. So friends, please be very attentive. Feluda and Topse travel to Gangtok for the summer holidays on the start of the Bengali New Year. While eating breakfast at Bagdogra airport, they meet a man by the name of Sasadar Bose, who works for a chemical firm dealing with aromatic perfumes. He tells that he had attended a nephew's wedding in Ghatshila, and after that he has come to Sikkim. While stopping at a place called Tista Bazar, the trio then discovers about an accident that took place in the North Sikkim highway. They learn that a huge boulder had crashed on the taxi and the taxi fell off the cliff, but the driver escaped unhurt. Feluda and Topsy are staying at Hotel Snowview while Sasadar Bose is staying in the dark bungalow. In the evening, Sasadar Bose comes to Feluda's hotel and informs him that the man who fell down the cliff in the accident was in fact his partner Shiv Kumar Shelvankar, who was also the owner of the company. Sasadar Bose walks out of the hotel to find a flight to Bombay the next day. This is when Feluda meets another Bengali in the hotel by the name of Nishikanto Sarkar. He reveals that he had a statue of a Tibetan god named Yamantak, which had 9 heads and 34 hands. He says that he had sold the statue to Shelvankar for 1,000 rupees. While walking on the road, they meet a German hippie, Helmut Ungar, who tells them more about Shelvankar. He tells them that he had a son whom he loved, but the son ran away from his father. Helmut tells Feluda that on the day of the accident, Mr. Shelvankar and he were supposed to have gone to Gumpa, a place on way to Singik, but Helmut last moment changed his program and left early to take some photographs. He reveals to Feluda that Shelvankar used to keep the statue with him in his pocket as he thought it to be a lucky charm, but after the accident the statue had gone missing. Helmut also tells that the reason of this superstition is because of the advice of a certain Dr. Vaidya. Later in the evening, Feluda and Topse go to the Tibetan Institute to learn more about this particular charm, the statue. Feluda asks the driver of the taxi he is traveling in to come in the morning the next day because he wants to see the scene of the accident. They reach the Tibetan Institute where the curator declares that the Yamantak which Shilvankar had, would cost a little more than 10,000 rupees. Feluda returns to the hotel to find Bose waiting for him. Bose tells Feluda that tomorrow he will be leaving for Bombay. Next day, Nishikanto Sarkar tells Feluda that someone threw a piece of paper in his room. The paper consisted of a Tibetan word which simply meant death. Later, Feluda and Topse travel to the accident site. There, Feluda finds a white button. He also reveals that someone had tried to make the boulder fall by using a strong iron rod, and that this accident was nothing else but a well-planned murder. Feluda sends a telegram to Bose asking him to come back to Gangtok. The next day, Nishikanto Sarkar, Helmut Unger, Topse and Feluda travel to Ramtek for seeing the Lama dance. Feluda learns through a telegram that Shivlankar's estranged son is very well present in Sikkim monastery, in one of the monasteries, and a detective agency has found the same. Then Feluda hears someone shouting. He and Topse come to the source of the sound and find that Mr. Sarkar had been pushed down the cliff. They rescue him and they come back to Gangtok. In the evening, they come to the dark bungalow where Helmut is staying. There they meet a strange looking man. Helmut introduces himself as Dr. Vaidya. Dr. Vaidya, who specializes in talking to souls, of the departed, tells all of them through Shilvankar's spirit that he was murdered and Virendra is responsible for his death. Helmut tells that Virendra is Shilvankar's only son. Dr. Vaidya tells Feluda that tomorrow he will be traveling to Pemiangachi. Next morning, Topse finds a paper near Feluda's ashtray. The paper consists of the same Tibetan word meaning death. Feluda tells Topse that today he will conduct an experiment on the North Sikkim highway. After conducting the experiment, Feluda concludes that the murder was done by first hitting Shilvankar with a rod and then throwing the vehicle down the cliff. Then a boulder was thrown to make it look like an accident. The driver was bribed. While Feluda was telling this, a boulder comes crashing down. Topshi saves Feluda from being crushed. In the evening, Helmut comes to Feluda's room and shows him two photographs. The photographs were taken during the crime. It shows a man wearing red clothes standing on top of the mountain and seeing the car falling. When Feluda tells that this is that man, Virendra, Helmut tells that it is impossible because he is only Virendra. He tells Feluda and Topshi that he did not like his father marrying twice and thus ran away from home. Then his father approached a detective agency to find his son. Then Helmut, or Virendra you could say, came to Sikkim. Helmut tells Feluda that he suspects Dr. Vaidya to be the murderer. They decide to travel to Pemiangachi to apprehend Dr. Vaidya. They pull in Mr. Sarkar also. Next day, while traveling to Pemiangachi, Sasadar Bose also follows them and requests them to also take him. They reach Pemiangachi in the evening. There they find that Dr. Vaidya is not there, but he has left his stick in the dark bungalow. Feluda then announces that Sasadar Bose is the killer. He killed Shilvankar to take over the ownership of his company. When Bose says that he had gone to his nephew's wedding during the murder, thereby creating an alibi, Feluda reminds him that in the Bengali calendar, no wedding is held during the month of Chaitra, since it is an inauspicious month, and that they had come together to Sikkim during the starting of the month of Baisakh. the first month of the Bengali calendar. Feluda tells that Sasadhar Bose and Dr. Vaidya are the same person. Dr. Vaidya told Shelvankar about his own life and impressed him. While going to the Gumpa, Dr. Vaidya and Shelvankar traveled in the same car. Then Dr. Vaidya, or you could say Sasadhar Bose, who happened to be the same person, hit Shelvankar with a rod and murdered him. Then he came back to Kolkata. Then as Sasadhar Bose, he travelled in the same plane with Feluda. Dr. Vaidya tried to put the blame on Virendra, but even when he did not know that helmet was actually Virendra. When he saw that Feluda was conducting an investigation, he tried to kill Feluda. Feluda also tells that Mr. Sarkar wanted to steal the statue of Yamantak from Shelvankar. So after the murder, he came down to find the same, but Bose saw him and started harassing him. Bose tries to escape but is caught by the leeches around. Feluda finds the statue in the belongings of the Sasadhar Bose. Sasadhar Bose is arrested and Feluda solves one of his most complex cases. So friends, it's an interesting story, a very sweet story. If you ever find the story, you can read the story. It's not a very lengthy story, and I would give it 7 out of 10. Incidentally, let me also say that most of these stories written by Satyajit Ray are extremely interesting. So that goes to show that he was not only a master movie maker, but he was an excellent story writer too. So goodbye friends, and see you soon.